Shalom, Shalom. The title of this lesson is Spiritual Warfare, Casting Down Strongholds through Hamashiach Yahawashi. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power that always deserves it. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the old for elect in the same Spirit, Lord willing, as a whole, that you all continue in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Aqua, the sisters of this faith and this truth, Lord willing, that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. Lord willing, this edifying lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. This lesson is circled around 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, verse 1 and 5. In the KJV, it smacks. But I think, I believe I was watching a brother's lesson. It was, no, yeah. Like yesterday, brothers was going into, Psalms 23. And the one brother was like, read Psalms 23, verse 5 in the MSG. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. A brother was speaking, I think, about strongholds, and he was quoting for 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, and he was like, yo, verse 5, it smacks in the Amplified. And I'm like, what? In the Amplified, if I'm thinking, our weapons are not carnal, but mighty through the Spirit, pulling down the strongholds, I'm like, I believe 2 Corinthians 10 and 5 in the KJV is the one. In the KJV, casting down imaginations in every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bring into captivity every thought into obedience of Hamashiach. So verse 4 is the strongholds, and I kind of got them mixed up. So when he said the Amplified, I went to the KJV because I was trying to see, is it verse 5 pulling down the strongholds? And when I seen it was verse 4, I already read verse 5. So I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me go to the Amplified. Man, verse 4 and 5 smack so crazy. So this lesson is circled around 2 Corinthians 10, verse 1 to 5. Let's get into it. In the Amplified, we're going to read verse 1 to 5. In the top, it says, Paul describes himself. Now I, Paul, urge you by the gentleness and graciousness of Hamashiach, I who am meek, so they say, when with you face to face, but bold, outspoken, and fearless toward you when absent. I ask that when I do come, I will not be driven to the boldness that I intend to show towards those few who regard us as if we walked according to the flesh like men without the Spirit. For though we walk in the flesh as mortal men, we are not carrying on our spiritual warfare according to the flesh in using the weapons of men. The weapons of our warfare are not physical, weapons of flesh and blood. Our weapons are divinely powerful for the destruction of fortresses. We are destroying sophisticated arguments and every exalted and proud thing that sets itself up against the true knowledge of the Most High, and we are taking every thought and purpose captive to the obedience of Hamashiach. And mainly this lesson, we're gonna focus on verse 5, but we're focusing on the whole point of verse 1 to 5. But I want to stick to the point of we are destroying sophisticated arguments. Nothing is standing against this truth. Everything outside this truth is standing alone. It's not you can't win a battle against the truth, okay? In no type of way. Even if we talking about science, you're going into history, you're going into nothing is overpowering this truth. Okay? So when you look up this word sophisticated, right? Sophisticated describes people with high cultural refinement, worldly experience, test, or system in machines that are highly complex, advanced, intricate. It applies a state of being advanced beyond a simple or natural level, sophisticated in the world. Now, you could be spiritually sophisticated in Yahawashi. That means your sophisticated is surrounded around the law, statutes, and commandments, the wisdom, the poetry, the songs, the history, the dark sayings, the parables, the prophecies. You're sophisticated in that. Okay? But when we go to this, what we just read, we are destroying those sophisticated arguments. Okay? And every exalted and proud thing that sets itself against the truth. And it could be somebody that's claiming this truth and they're trying to use high level words. All right? Somebody either went to college, they got somewhere in these degrees and feel like they're up, they're over somebody because now they have this sophisticated education. But we just see that truly y'all are against the true knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Okay? In the Apostle Paul, he speaks about how the true servants of the Lord fight, not carnally, but spiritually through divine power. So the spirit of meekness, and not carnally, is what we're gonna reread verse 1 and 2, okay, and attack that. So again, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1 and 2, it says, "Now I, Paul, urge you by the gentleness and graciousness of Hamashiach, I who am meek." So they say, when with you face to face, but bold, outspoken, and fearless towards you when absent, I ask that when I do come, I will not be driven to boldness that I intend to show towards those few who regard us as if we are walking according to the flesh, like men without the spirit. So Paul comes in meekness and gentleness, just like Yahawashi Hamashiach, but warns he can be bold when necessary. Let's read that in the KJV. "But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present, with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as if we walk according to the flesh." And hey, that even hits more on this side because a lot of people don't know what they signed up. This walk truly is spiritual. Okay, this is a way powerful walk that we're in. And we supposed to be changed, but you have to be willing to change daily. Daily. Within this truth, it's a changing process. Okay? So, true men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi are not driven by pride, ego, or the flesh. The world makes meekness for weakness, but it is controlled strength, and boldness comes when defending the truth and not self. Don't he say, fight the good fight of faith? We're defending the faith each day. Defending the faith is not just necessarily, oh, let's go in a debate. Let's go back and forth. And then when we leave, you didn't get edified. I'm saying you wrong. You didn't get edified. And you over here saying I'm wrong, which is totally incorrect. The whole point of picking up this word is to make sure we are being edified. Or when you are teaching, that you're teaching to build somebody up. This is not a competition. Okay? This is not a battle. Oh, I'm gonna get salvation and you're not. No. Even if I'm aiming to get salvation, I'm trying to build myself up and my talent that I believe the Lord allowed me to actually teach and bring out this word as a prophet, that I have to go feed and give the correct message to the other sheep. Just because of that point, we're going to get back on this point, like the apostle always says, it's a lesson within a lesson. Now, the point that I was going to cover, because it's multiple precepts coming into mind, but just speaking to lay me off the point of boldness comes when defending the truth and not self. Stephen was defending the truth in boldness. Eventually, he died. But I'm going to use this account, dealing with the apostles. Instead of reading it, you can read it in Amplified, but I'm going to read it in the KJV. This is Acts, the 4th chapter, starting at 28. It says, "For to do whatsoever thy hand and thy counsel determined before to be done. And now, Lord, behold their threatenings, and grant unto thy servants that with all boldness they may speak thy word, by stretching forth thy hand to heal, in that signs and wonders may be done by the name of thy holy child Yahawashi," right? And everything we do on this side, we're doing in the name of Hamashiach Yahawashi. And when they had prayed, the place was shaken where they were assembled together, and they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and they spake the word of the Most High with boldness, right? When we defending the gospel, right? When we're walking in this sound doctrine that Yahawashi has given us, 100% truth, we're in this thing with boldness. We're teaching with boldness. Now, you might have somebody in the world that might come with boldness, but nothing truly can outbeat the truth, especially when it's somebody that's skilled as a warrior with a physical sword. That warrior is symbolic to a man that's well put when it comes to the scriptures, the histories, the parables, the dark saying, the prophecies, that anybody that might be sophisticated in this world or sophisticated somewhat in the scriptures, like in Christianity or something, they will not be able to stand a chance against this man with that sophisticated spiritual knowledge, which really stems from the Rakak Wadash that Yahweh gives unto us, right? When you go to, that's why this truth is beyond the shit that this world gives you, because we go back to giving credit to the Father. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, verse 21. It says, "For wisdom opened the mouth of the dumb. It made the tongues of them that cannot speak eloquent." Right? Those that are dumb and that couldn't speak, the spirit of wisdom made them eloquent. So when we talking about sophisticated, it's people that are sophisticated in their own wisdom, in their self, the wisdom they get on this side, or schools. But we're sophisticated, eloquent, smart, because the Lord filled us with the Rakak Wadash. The Lord don't put in scriptures we have to go to a college school, but to fully know the secrets, you have to be led by a man of the Lord that's moved with the Rakak Wadash. So really, a man is moved by the heavenly power, the divine power, because the Rakak Wadash is within him, and he's going to feed you. Okay? It's really like Yahweh Shem Shai is feeding us through him. Okay? So let's slide over to Matthew, the 11th chapter. Lord willing, that other precept that was in my head comes back. Matthew 11 and 29. It says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls." Right? In verse 30, it says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Right? The obstacle that Yahawashi went through, his was actually light. And truly, when you look at it, the suffering on this side, which suffering in this truth, is you taking the yoke of Yahawashi, right? Outside of what we see that we deal with in this world. But verse 29 again in the Amplified, let's just do it. "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me." How can we learn of Yahawashi? Going in the scriptures. St. John 5 and 39. You think the scriptures give you eternal life? No, they testify of me. Or in the NLT, they point you to me. The scripture is going to lead us right back to Yahawashi, following me as my disciple, a pupil, a student, a learner. Okay, we have to be learners in this thing. If you say you're a true believer, you're saying you're a learner. That means, okay, did you learn who is the God in Genesis 1:1? If you are a pupil, if you are a disciple, you're learning the beginning of things. Okay? For I am gentle and humble in heart and will find and you will find rest, renewal, blessed quiet for your souls. Now that's fire that we're going to be renewed. In all, if this walk is spiritual, the Rakakwadash did not hit you like freaking Space Jam, the first one with Michael Jordan. When they all touched the ball, they felt that they were getting filled with that stuff. Now on this side, we do feel that little fire. We feel the spirit on us, but it's not the same as where people, oh, here he's possessed by a demon. That's different. But through the spirit, if we was to say on the right hand side, the elect truly is possessed by Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi on the right hand side. Okay, for my yoke is easy to bear and my burden is light. Right, that yoke that's easy to bear is the suffering on this side. Right, is it 2 Timothy 2:12? If we suffer, we shall reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. Okay, so that yoke is the suffering on this side. Okay, because we know Yahweh is long suffering. This Ecclesiastes chapter 7 in verse 8. It says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. You know, and it's amazing, we're at the end time. So that means that this end is going to be better than the beginning of this captivity. This ending is going to be better than the first captivity, which is in ancient Egypt. It's going to be way better. Brothers and sisters, pay attention. Pay attention. So the elect walk in humility, but will stand firm when truth is challenged. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. This verse I like because it's going to align with it even better. I'm going to read in the KJV and the Amplified. We're going to soak as much as we can. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye standfast, unmovable. When you come in this truth, you want to be able to not be moved. Go watch the first Jumanji movie if you don't know what I'm talking about. When they first started to play the game, the pieces would not move unless it was the person's turn. Okay? Always abounding in the work of Yahweh Shem Yahawashi. So you should always find yourself in the work of the Lord. Okay? Always abounding. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in Yahweh Shem Yahawashi. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in this truth, walking in this truth, Yahawashi still didn't come. Guess what? Know that your labor is not in vain, and make sure you're always abounding in it. We can say you in here for another 20, another 30, another 50. Like Gorilla would say, we might be here for another 1,000 years. What? Make sure you're always still abounding in the work of the Lord. Make sure you ready to go the distance. David told Uriah, man, go to your wife, go see your wife. I mean, of course, David lay with her, but Uriah was like, nah, I'm staying right here. That's the mindset we truly got to be when it comes to the work of Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, right? It's so much we got to get done. Now, in the Amplified, it says, therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be standfast, immovable, always excelling in the work of Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, always doing your best, right? We're always striving to hit that marker, our best, in doing more than is needed. See, right there, it just said it. You're doing more than what is needed. It's better to try than not do. So you're trying to do what is needed outside of taking care of your family. You want to do the most. Okay? That's why we can never go far enough. Being continually aware that your labor, even to the point of exhaustion, in Yahawashi Shai is not futile nor wasted. It is never without purpose, right? Some brothers were probably doing a 14-hour shift and they gotta accumulate a lesson. Or they probably already had a lesson, or they gotta throw or do a remake, do a redo. It don't matter if they did a redo, the same lesson, and they serious, they sincere in it, right? It's still the Lord drawing them to go do a lesson. You just did 14 hours, brother. Take a break, rest, get your mind right. That be like, no, man, I got to do a lesson. The sheep is hungry on my channel. Even though I ain't talking to him, I know somebody's hungry, right? If it's 12 hours in a day, 12 hours at night, somebody on this earth, it's more than 10, it's more than 20 eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Somebody is searching, somebody is scrolling. That's the mindset you got to have, okay? So sometimes, hey, you might be tired. Oh man, I just cleaned the whole house. My back hurt. Guess what? When you sit down, you ain't moving no more. And even though my back or my legs might hurt, my head might hurt, I could still sit down and still be able to do a lesson. I'm using this example. You always want to abound in the work of the Lord. Because soon as how I look at it, soon as you take too many breaks, you eventually become lazy, and then now you're going to be doing less, and less. And me and the brother Yarmayan was saying, it's like the Lord power is so swift that you can really be in this walk for a part time, and then the Lord blow you out, and you like slowly but surely forgot a lot of stuff. Now you don't see a lot of things spiritual, and then you see this and you see that. And it's more in a Christian mindset, and you'll be like, yo, this brother was reading, this brother had it all. How is he? Oh, I get the understanding, but that's not it. And you see how somebody lost it. But before, they were speaking spiritually, how we all got in this truth, and then now connecting worldly knowledge with the Bible. Now it's mainly like you a Christian all over again. And it's like, the Lord can blow your candlestick crazy. Then you got some that's thinking about a sport, a game, traveling, money, a good time, a freaking a room, a house, a floor, wanting to be alone, or whatever the heck that it is. People would think about all those things just to walk away from the brotherhood, walk away from the circle that is invested in the truth. Hey, Yahawashi Shai got the elect covered regardless wherever they go. But if you are in the faith, you have to take accountability and confess to yourself, was it wise for me to leave people that's trying to usher or lead me or lead themselves into the kingdom, and I'm about to go and daily be around people that don't care nothing about the kingdom? Yahawashi Shai will have you thinking these things. As a grown-ass man, as a grown-ass woman, hey, even some of these children, these teenagers that got some type of knowledge and feel like they doing something with their life, a lot of men and women wouldn't even be able to recognize that the Lord is moving them around. So like y'all, I'm over here clicking. Okay? So, even to the point of exhaustion, and Yahawashi Shai is not futile nor wasted. It is never without purpose, right? Our labor is not going to go in vain. It's not going to, this word, this walk, this work is not going to be on this earth without a purpose. The purpose is to fulfill the elect. Okay? And the elect walk in humility, but will stand firm when the truth is challenged. Okay? So now let's go to 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter again, and let's read verse 3, because we walk in the flesh, but do not war after the flesh. For those that can comprehend, I know it makes sense to you. We walk in the flesh. I'm about to go to the gym. I just got out of work. I'm walking in the flesh. Got to go eat. Got to go do this. But the spirit side is when you're thinking about the Lord, when you're learning, being edified. You're thinking about history. You see a Jake do something, you be like, man, I'm telling you, that's Jake. You see a Chinese or a Vietnamese, and they're giving off some Jake type of vibe. Guess what? That is you're spiritually thinking while walking or enjoying yourself in this fleshful moment. If I go out to eat, if I just go for a ride, ain't nobody teaching, ain't nobody reading, that is a fleshful moment. So though we live in physical bodies, our warfare is not physical. This war that we dealing with, y'all might not even see it, is bigger than what you can see because it's spiritual. This truth is not spread by violence and politics or carnal means. It never was. Okay? When people, they think Hebrew Israelites is violent, we vicious. No, we have spiritual hatred and anger. Us over here in Great Millstone, we're not teaching brothers, go get a grenade. Go get all the guns, learn how to use every gun, and we're gonna kill. No, we don't do all of that. Because the Lord gonna give us spiritual powers, and He gonna turn that light on when He wants us to go hunting. But this side, that's not for us to do none of that. It's for us to turn back to Yahawashi. The real battle is spiritual. You're battling the mind, you're battling beliefs, you're battling deception, and you're battling truth. What is truth? Okay? Now you gotta, try the spirit by the spirit. Ephesians, the 6th chapter, in verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. I think the old Geneva, it would say the rulers of governments of this world. But now it says rulers of the darkness. And we could say who would be of the darkness? Those that are of that Lucifer, right? Morning star, those that are connected with the illuminated ones, the enlightened ones, which we would say the elites, small hats, the ones that juggle the world powers in their hands. Against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. 1 Kings 22 and Job and many other books, but it shows you the counsel the Lord always is having with the sons of God and the angels on the left-hand side, the demons, the angels, Satan, the top guy. He's always talking to him because counsel is going out. Whatever is happening in your life today, like right now, today is the 20th, I believe. Whatever is happening in your life, it was all sanctioned in the heavens. Isaiah 46:10, the Lord declares the end from the beginning. Okay, let's get St. John, the 18th chapter, and let's get verse 36. Yahawashi answered, my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight that I should not be delivered to the Jews? But now is my kingdom not from hence, right? Yahawashi's kingdom is not of this world. Even more, the kingdom is within you. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. If we fully had this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we will understand. We will fully grasp. This is not it. But brothers is growing in the spirit where they know this is not living. A car, I don't care if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, is meaningless. Now when Jake, us brothers, you got some brothers that's getting fast cars. You getting the super luxurious. All of it's meaningless. Brother, you can get, excuse my language, sisters, but you can get the coldest mamma jamma, the finest breezy, finest, you can call her a bitch if you want, but the finest, coldest woman, even though that's lawful for us to have. The bedroom, that's the bed is undefiled. That's a husband and wife. But truly, when you look at it, brother, you get a wife, and truly on this side, if you not serving Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, a wife shit is meaningless. If you ain't serving Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, it's meaningless because now you're not dwelling with her according to knowledge. You're not molding your house a certain way, That's crazy to me, you know. And even you sisters, man, you wanna be with a man, but not now you don't got the edification in the scriptures to know that you supposed to be given to a man of the Lord. You're supposed to be given to a man of understanding, let alone you're supposed to be a virgin. With this world made it popular to pop boogie. That's a stronghold we're pulling down. You know, it's people that's on podcasts that's sophisticated. This was one woman because she got all these. I own this. I did this. I did this. You know, what I'm saying is more beneficial than somebody that don't have experience in these fields. Who gives a damn? What thus saith the Lord is over all of the experience. This woman is saying before you even be committed just to one man and never, you should test it out. Build your skills up. Learn how to do this. Learn how to slob on a McNob on a corner on a cob. Learn how to write. Do all these things. Experiment first. See what size you like. This is a grown woman telling another woman that's single before you try to be committed to one relationship. Get your body tested out. Test the feels out, because you'll deal with a man. He got this side and this dude got that side. Man, see where you at. Guess what? That is bad leadership as a freaking woman. That's not no at all. And if you don't got this truth, that's somebody that's for you in the world. That's the leadership we have in the world. That type of shit. But when it comes to Yahawashi, yes, it's strict. I'm going to say strict, but it's not. That's the way we lived. Forget saying it's strict. The Lord knows us. This is how the Lord wants us to move. And he knew that this was beneficial for us. But us as humans, we're sophisticated. No, the Lord is a little too harsh with that. You know, this is the reason why he gave us Yahawashi, because he knew we wasn't going to do it. No, it's truly because the Lord declared the end from the beginning. Yahawashi had to come because it was already set up for Yahawashi to do that. Let alone Yahawashi playing the role he playing. It goes back to the Father of knowing you need him. This is why you can't boast on being sophisticated on this side. Right? Let me get this. What Paul said. Sorry on that little rant. We had to get those out. This is this is the one that we want. Galatians 6:14. I really wanted an NLT, but I'll read it in the Amplified. It says, But far be it from me to boast in anything or anyone except in the cross of our Lord, Yahawashi Mashiach, through whom the world has been crucified to me and I to the world. So again, instead of us boasting on anything or anyone, we should be boasting on the cross of Hamashiach Yahawashi. That's why everything in your life technically is meaningless. If it's not bringing you back to having conversations, meditating, thinking, waking up, and now you're about to start your day, the first thing you might want to do is do a lesson. You might want to read. You know, well, we're supposed to be boasting in what Yahawashi did for us, not boasting in the shit somebody else got, what you desire, what you want. And I know we human, but truly this allows you to examine yourself. Do you truly believe? How many conversations you had of the Lord? You know, how many times did you devour his scriptures because you in this flesh? I'm not like Denzel off of the movie The Book of Eli, rocking just at the end of the movie, this man saying everything from the Bible word for word, because he gave that brailled Bible to that dude that couldn't even read it because he wasn't blind. You know, my mind ain't that type of developed. I'm getting older, and reading all the time, it builds discipline, it builds character, and it helps you to not to become idle. And it helps you. So like, say if you about to go do your thing, you about to drive around, you about to be in people's faces. Yeah, you putting the armor on, but it helps your mind to to have words, how you deal with things, right? You getting your spirit already connected to the Lord. So already, because we come in this truth, you're not leaving the house to get into what you used to get in the world. If I was Mr. Steer your girl in the world, when I come in this truth, I'm not gonna aim to steal anybody's girl. I'm gonna just want a girl or another girl and make her a wife. Because now you come in this truth, things is different. You're not looking like how I was in the world, FDH, fuck these hoes. But all women are not hoes. Some women will be able to go the distance, and you'll be lucky to find a woman that will deal or endure, this truth and actually want to walk it. This truth is saving us from a lot if we take it serious. This truth allow you woman to play your role even more, and it allows you to try to be on your best behavior when your man is not around, because you're looked at when he's not around by Yahawashi. And if you believe it is truth, you might be tested. A man might holler at you. What you gonna do? Is you about to have a whole long talk? Is you about to be stern on your response? Getting giggly eyes? Is you about to show him that you blushing? Cause a man see a woman blushing, he gonna keep, this wisdom, knowledge, understanding did a lot for us, right? So we got to get into boasting about Hamashiach Yahawashi. So spiritual weapons are mighty through Yahweh. Okay. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 in verse 4 in the Amplified, it says, the weapons of our warfare is not physical, weapons of flesh and blood. Our weapons are divinely powerful for the destruction of fortresses. Our weapons are not carnal. They are spiritual and powerful through the Most High. What are these weapons that I'm speaking of? The Word, the Scriptures, the Bible, faith, prayer, wisdom through the Spirit, which this wisdom comes from the heavens. Let's get Hebrews, the 4th chapter, verse 12. For the word of the Most High is quick. This is why we use it, because it's quick. You see a video, and even if the scripture might not come to mind, you get your physical Bible, you get your phone, you're going to get the right precept to match this dumb video you just seen, right? It could be a long video. Somebody could have said something at work, in person. The word of the Most High is quick and powerful, right? These things hit sharper than any two-edged sword. So just know this word is sharp. It's not dull, it's sharp. Like what they say, and I was just saying this before I got here. It doesn't matter what kind of horse. I mean, it does, but a lot of racers and even, Fast and the Furious, he said it doesn't really matter about the car. It matters about the driver. And when you know about, I think his name, Brian, I believe that's his name. The one that was a cop, and then, he seen Van Diesel and his team, and they started investigating. Brian always picked dope cars, but me seeing it eye view, his car wasn't pushing the power of Van Diesel, if we was to be technical. But he always used to say it matters on the driver, not the car. And he was an actual dope, good driver. And there's times where he had Van Diesel, but of course the way they made the movie, So this word is powerful and it's sharp like a two-edged sword. It's very sharp. Okay? Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intent of the heart. In the NLT, for the word of the Most High is living and active. So this is a life source that we using. Okay? and active and full of power, making it operative, energizing, and effective. It is sharper than any two-edged sword, penetrating as far as the division of the soul and spirit, the completeness of person and of both joints and marrow, the deepest parts of our nature, exposing and judging the very thoughts and intentions of our heart, right, of your mind. So these scriptures cut to the heart, it cut to the bone. Right, let's get Isaiah 55, verse 11. And it reads, it says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. Right? The words of Yahawashi is not going to turn back there void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And the Lord sent this word in many places. And his word is going to do a great search, because the truth itself is the weapon. When spoken correctly, this is why, starting with Apostle Tahar, they always say, we teach you 100% truth. Okay? It destroys lies. Okay, so let's go back to 2 Corinthians. This is 2 Corinthians. You are casting down strongholds. We're dealing with verse 4 and 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4 again and 5. It says, the weapons of our warfare are not physical, weapons of flesh and blood. Our weapons are divinely powerful for the destruction of the fortresses. We are destroying sophisticated arguments in every exalted and proud thing that sits itself up against the true knowledge of the Most High. And we are taking every thought and purpose captive to the obedience of Hamashiach. So strongholds are false beliefs, right? Doctrine and mental prison built against the truth. But that the one false belief, which a lot of y'all fully don't even know what this truth is about, is the name. Now, when I came in this truth, I was a babe. I didn't think, like, of course, like in the beginning, when I first heard that his name was this, and then brothers were giving it sense, it made sense. But Salaki, in a flesh kind of way, I'm like, well, I get it, but if the Lord, he knows the time, then maybe we don't really have to go and keep saying Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, unless they ask or anything, but we should just keep it even more plain and just use the name Jesus. But then it kept hitting me, but I just kept using that name Jesus, like before, because I knew everybody didn't know the name. And one day Yarmayan was like, brother, you should use the name Yahweh Shem Shai because you got it. I'm like, everybody don't know Yahweh Shem Shai. He's like, that is true. But we know the scriptures say, study to give a man an answer. You got to give the person a chance to ask the question. But if you keep saying Jesus, 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 nobody is going to ever think of Yahweh Shem Shai. I'm like, dang. And me being in his flesh, I didn't end up listening because I started doing the lesson. And I still was doing it, still saying it. Just like when I was saying Shalom to the Akwathim. A brother from Great Millstone had to tell me it's not Akwathim. It's only Akim and Akwath. You already said you did. Akwath can go for sister, or sisters. I did not know. So even when I was doing videos, I kept still saying Shalom to the Akwathim. And then I would re-listen to my lesson. I still would hear it. And I'm deleting the whole lesson. And I'm like, man, I don't want to keep deleting these whole lessons. So I had to keep, every time when I start my lesson, I would say, all praise to Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Kakwadash. I would say the whole intro, the last point, Shalom to you, Akwathim. And I'm like, dang, I said it again. Then I delete it, and then say it over again. And now if y'all been paying attention for the past few weeks, I'm saying Shalom to the Akwath. I don't say Akwath Yum. I had to get that correction and change it. The same way saying Jesus all the dang time and not Yahawashi. I had to accept what's being said, and I had to put that to death. And it made sense. So those are the strongholds. False belief, doctrines, teachings. These are mental prisons built against the truth. But these things were built for those that are not of the elect to be consumed and taken away easily. So examples of strongholds, which we already gave: false doctrine, pride, worldly wisdom, which is another stronghold, worldly wisdom. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Lies about identity and salvation. But because I just said something, let's go to 1 Corinthians. So I'm always reading this in the KJV, since we got the Amplified, and we already dealing with 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, verse 1 to 5, we're going to read this in the Amplified. On the screen, you can see the KJV too, so you can read along. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 1 in verse 20 in the Amplified. And I just want to just get onto the point of, that worldly wisdom, right, is a stronghold too. It says, where is the wise men, philosophers? Where is the scribes, scholars? Where is the debaters, logician, auditor of this age? Has the Most High not exposed the foolishness of this world's wisdom? For since the world through all its earthly wisdom failed to recognize the Most High in his wisdom was well pleased through the foolishness of the message preached regarding salvation to save those who believe in Hamashiach and welcome him as Savior. For Jews demand signs, attesting miracles, and Greeks pursue worldly wisdom and philosophy. This is really speaking about Israelites pursuing worldly wisdom and philosophy, right? Because Israelites wasn't doing that before. The nations naturally was doing that. But it says, but we preach Hamashiach crucified, a message which is to Jews a stumbling block that provokes their opposition, and the Gentiles foolishness, just utter nonsense. But to those who are the called, both Jews and Greeks, Israelites, Gentiles, Hamashiach is the power of the Most High and the wisdom of the Most High. This is because the foolishness of the Most High is not foolishness at all and is wiser than men, right? The foolishness of the Lord is wiser than men, far beyond human comprehension. And the weakness of the Most High is stronger than men, far beyond the limits of human efforts, right? Come on, the Lord's weakness is stronger and his foolishness is stronger. Just look at your own calling, believers. Not many of you were considered wise according to the human standards, not many powerful or influential, not many of high and noble birth. But the Most High has selected for his purpose the foolish things of this world, with the foolish things of the world, to shame the wise, revealing their arrogance. And the Most High has selected for his purpose the weak things of the world to shame the things which are strong, revealing their frailty. The Most High has selected for his purpose the significant base things of the world and the things that are despised and treated with contempt, even the things that are nothing, so that he might reduce to nothing the things that are, so that no one may be able to boast in the presence of the Most High. But it is from him that you are in Hamashiach Yahawashi, who became to us wisdom for the Most High, revealing his plan of salvation and righteousness, making us acceptable to the Most High in sanctification, making us holy, and setting us apart for the Most High in redemption, providing our ransom for the penalty for sin. And the wisdom of this world is not going to eloquently teach you these things and have you sitting there reminiscing and just like, dang, he did all of this for us. We can only have these words that I just said and meditate the way that we do and get afflicted the way we do because of this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and you believe. Believing makes the word hit even more. Jeremiah 23 verse 29, and it reads, "Is not my word like as fire, saith Yahweh, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces?" Right? The word is like a hammer that breaks rocks. Right? The word is breaking strongholds. Us as teachers, we have to believe it. And when you teaching, it can't be on hypocrisy. Whatever you teaching, you had to do. You know, like when people say, "Oh, you brother just want to agree with a brother." No, we study. Oh yeah. You study, but you just study what somebody else has said, what somebody else has say. Well, duh. If they going in the scriptures, Romans 10, shouldn't we go in Romans 10 and reanalyze it? Yes. But none of us can grow in this thing unless it was given by the Lord. No man on this earth in this truth allow me to grow, allow me to be able to teach the word the way I'm able to remember precepts. The Lord allowed me to around brothers that was working on their craft in this truth, working on teaching better, working on remembering. And my eyes seen it, and I'm like, dang, I can't remember none of these verses. How can I do it? And I kept praying and asking for more increase. And the Lord was just having brothers around where before camp, days before, or we just on the phone and you're like, "Yo, brothers, what you doing?" "Oh, I'm just looking at my notes." And then he telling you like, "Man, I'm trying to get my memory on point because I'm going to be teaching in a few days at camp." And brothers pulling out flashcards. You know, they going over this and on this, and I can't remember precepts. I can't do this. I can't do that. At the end of the day, you got to know that the word is a hammer. The more you grow, the more the hammer changes. And I mean change where it becomes more official to breaking or, doing what it has to do. Instead of having like a rubber one, you might have a stainless steel one, So the truth tears down lies that people have believed their whole lives. So bringing every thought into obedience in Hamashiach Yahawashi, 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, in verse 5 in the Amplified, it says, we are destroying sophisticated arguments and every exalted and proud thing that sets itself up against the true knowledge of the Most High, and we are taking every thought and purpose captive to the obedience of Hamashiach. So this is truly towards the obedience of Hamashiach, not just actions. Even thoughts must be governed by Yahawashi. Brothers might have the pleasure of mind. I'm an overthinker. Sometimes I could be trying to meditate on a lesson. I'm watching a lesson, and my mind could be somewhere else. Even if it's not a sin, or even if it's something that's taking me away from what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be listening to at least 2-3 lessons. If we was to be, just to put a number, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7. But if something is taking me away, our focus is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. Okay? Our focus is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. You're living, how you walk, and your talk, your conversation, right? Is your conversation on the Lord? Are you meditating on the Lord? Are you thinking on the Lord? Are you building your life on the Lord? All those things play a deep role, because on the other side, I'm not Yahawashi. I'm not Yahweh. I'm not an angel that can change my. I'm not that. They're analyzing you. What is your thoughts like? Sirach 42, verse 18 to 21. All the hidden things is known to the Lord. So whatever you think that you got and you thinking of right now, it's on your mind. he's in there. He's in your mind right now. He know what you want. He know what you're thinking. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. It says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." The only way we can renew our mind is allowing Yahweh to transform the way we think, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. The more you grow in this thing, the more you know what is that good and acceptable will of Yahawashi. The more you grow, the more the Lord is allowing you to understand and know. This is not of me. This is not of you. This is of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Whatever you increase in, what did he say? What DJ Khaled? God did. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi did it on your behalf, brothers. Philippians 4:8, it says, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if they be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things." Okay? So the battlefield starts in the mind. That's the first battle, the mind. And whoever controls the mind controls the man. And this is why when you go to Galatians, the 5th chapter, where it says the flesh and the spirit resist against one another. So if you in the spirit is going to resist the flesh. If you are in the flesh, thinking, moving, the flesh is going to resist the spirit. So you won't be in the spirit for those hours or for that day, because you too much in the flesh. Your body, your system is going to already know. So this truth is not about outward appearance. That's just our flesh, that I like to look good. Okay? It is about spiritual power through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. And this is what first you should want to desire, to teach this word, to read, to understand these things. Anything that pertains to this truth is somewhat form of a superpower on a lower level. For some of you, Jake, you're like, man, reading, teaching, that's not a superpower. Yes, it is. This is the number one truth on earth. This is a job. Through the Spirit, you're kind of saving souls because you pointing them to the Savior. You edifying, building them on to what's happening. Only a man that's moved through the Rakak Wadash can do it, because that is a power. Teaching is a power. And guess what? In order for you to really do this, you need the Rakak Wadash to even teach. So brothers is dabbling into one of their power sources. So we fight with truth, not fists. This is why we're ready to defend the truth by, as soon as somebody say something wrong, we go in the scriptures. Your mother and father say something, you ain't trying to force it, but they're trying to educate you or educate a wrong or a right situation. And they looking at you and you like, well, look, you go to, hey, da-da-da-da. You go to this chapter and go to this verse. Boom, boom, boom. You break, hi, man, we don't want to hear that. And guess what? A lot of people don't even have this spiritual treasure. Okay? So we conquer through the Spirit, not the flesh. We destroy lies by rightly dividing the word of truth. Precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Using them for the right precepts, the right points. The elect are being trained right now to tear down strongholds. Right? I'm not talking about, what is it? Genesis varsity. I ain't talking about that. Stand boldly in the truth. Stand boldly in this faith. Keep their minds disciplined. The greatest victory is not over another man. It is over deception, beginning in your own mind. Because us having a physical battle is when Yahawashi return. I mean, of course, you're in Jacob's trouble, but our full battle, getting our hands fully dirty, is when Yahawashi changes us, and then we will have that hunting spirit. First speaking to you men. But right now, our battle or our revenge is spiritual. You know, to build up Israel is a tactic in your captivity, because even in slavery, where you had some slaves secretly trying to read and write, eventually that was going to be a weapon. So if certain visitors came, some of the slaves would have never knew, but say one of these Edomite visitors came and they heard you playing an instrument or they heard you reading, it would intrigue them and they would try to go to that slave master to go buy you. You know, we're a weapon. And a lot of you, Jake, don't have the spiritual mindset to know this teaching is a weapon. To break down the scriptures is a weapon. It's a superpower. This is why the Lord say people won't even be able to gainsay. That's why we have to fully grow and believe what we're teaching. You know, and you want to present that you're not in this thing for debate. And if anybody's showing it, it's, hey, look, it's only one way or another way. And even if we get into these scriptures and you don't agree, somebody has to be telling the truth. Somebody has to be lying. Do you believe it's 100% truth out here? Yes or no? If you think no, then maybe it's not good for you to even listen to me, because us over here, we believe it is 100% truth out here. But who's teaching it? So I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawashi Yahawashi. That's always making it happen. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson through the power and spirit of Yahawashi Yahawashi. Again, the elect are being trained right now to tear down strongholds, to stand boldly in this truth, and to keep their minds disciplined. The greatest victory is not over another man. It is over deception, beginning in your own mind. I think a lesson a few days ago that I had did, but Apostle Gabar, I just recently said it. You have to be the worst critic over your own self. You know, you have to get on your ass more than somebody else, because you in your shoes daily, right? You know, you can smell your body odor. You know you, so you should be getting on you, taking accountability. You know, and I don't try to be soft on anybody. You deal with people on their level, but when it comes to yourself, you don't want to be slack on yourself. Okay, this is a serious thing. I want salvation. I want to be in the Lord's kingdom. I'm putting ass to belt spiritually, and when I'm getting on myself, Terrence, you know, excuse me. I mean, just ignore that. But I'm calling my slave name, man. So all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai by Shema Kakwadash. The title of this lesson: Spiritual Warfare, Casting Down Strongholds Through Yahawashi. Each lesson is pulling down a stronghold. It doesn't matter what title, as long as it go back to sound doctrine, 100% truth. Was it correct? The verses that came out the Bible, the sense that he gave in those verses, was it 100% correct? Is the title of any lesson, is it true that it's a spiritual warfare? Is it true that the Hebrew Israelite men, the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, that say that they are, and truly through the Spirit that they are those apostles, those prophets that came back? Is it really? Are they really casting down strongholds? And when you find out the scriptures show that this is a spiritual warfare, the scriptures show about the strongholds being cast down, that should make you rethink, or make you be like, wow, oh snap. Every man and woman, you must know what you signed up for. You must know. Shalom.